no evidence of anything that she's talking about. I'll just say that it's silly season.
Elaine Godfrey of The Atlantic magazine says that she was thrown out of one of Congresswoman Crockett's rallies. And Godfrey published this article yesterday, quote, "Why I got thrown out of a Jasmine Crockett rally." Now, a day before that, Crockett told CBS News that no journalist had been thrown out of her rally. Oh, really?
They just said, Elaine from Atlantic, white girl with a hat and notepad. She's interviewing people in the crowd. She's a top-notch hater and will spin. She needs to leave.
Top-notch hater.
Ladies and gentlemen, underdog Jasmine Crockett, the hood raptor of Texas, the one who is known by many as the ghetto Democrat, seemingly because that's the moniker that she wanted, is now paying severely because she's getting her ass kicked by a well-spoken white male liberal, Tallarico, out there in the Senate race in Texas, right? Not to mention the fact that Tallarico is going to get his butt kicked as well by, whoever the Republican opponent is, just because that's usually how things go, and it's probably going to go that way again. But Crockett here apparently doesn't like free speech. She has kicked out a journalist and she's in denial over it. Let's go ahead and see what she had to say about this. By the way, guys, there's a new feature on YouTube where you can hype videos. So be sure to like the video, hype the video. It helps out a lot. Appreciate you.
I'll just say that it's silly season. I doubt my staff reached out to you for this interview. We definitely made sure that we posted publicly. And what we've been doing is exactly this. Anybody that shows up, we're doing interviews. I will say that, there is a specific journalist who is, she has a history of being less than truthful. And frankly, there's no evidence of anything that she's talking about. I've not seen anything, and we were asked about whether or not on yesterday as we were doing these poll visits, if something like that happened. Nothing like that happened. I will say about that journalist, she has been sued for defamation and lost before. So it is sad that there is any news outlet that actually would have her on staff when, as a journalist, the one thing that matters most is truth. And, well, from what we can tell, she's been sued for defamation before and lost. So I can tell you that nothing like that happened on yesterday. We've been out here like this. And as you know, when you were here, there was another journalist that was here as well. There's no other journalist that is also confirming that something like this happened yesterday. It's silly season, and I just want to make sure that we focus on what matters most, which is Texas voters and what it is that we're going to do. Anybody that is trying to cause distractions and inject themselves into the conversation and not focus on voters is trying to do what honestly has allowed us to lose in general as a people. It's a distraction. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's funny that she mentioned this journalist saying things that are untrue, because what Jasmine Crockett just did was lie. I have proof and evidences. There's actually audio recording of this incident. Let's go ahead and roll the tape.
Oh, hey! Are you late?
Yeah.
Okay, her team has asked you to leave.
Me to leave?
So we're can you get your stuff? And her team wants her to leave. And
Why?
they're asking her to leave.
Okay.
Why are you asking me to leave?
They just said, Elaine from Atlantic, white girl with a hat and notepad. She's interviewing people in the crowd. She's a top-notch hater and will spin. She needs to leave.
You're gonna have to escort you out now.
She's a top-notch hater. White girl.
They just said, Elaine from Atlantic, white girl with that hat.
White girl with that hat and notepad. She's a top-notch hater. And she needs to leave. Hold on, play this again. This is hilarious.
Okay.
Why are you asking me to leave?
They just said, Elaine from Atlantic, white girl with that hat and notepad. She's interviewing people in the crowd. She's a top-notch hater and will spin. She needs to leave.
We're gonna have to escort you out now.
Bag and go with her.
Can we go out and leave?
Sure.
Wow. Exposed. See if there's anything else here.
That's crazy. What are they afraid of?
Sure, but told me to make sure you leave.
Doing your job. That's all right. Thank you.
So apparently they escorted her out, hand on.
I have to get an Uber, so I'm gonna probably just wait outside for that.
That's fine.
Okay.
The only thing, I wish they had a video of it, but they got the audio.
All right, I'm gonna stand here because I don't want to stand.
If you get up, you have to leave.
You gotta get off the.
You have to leave the property. You can wait outside the gate. That'd be great.
Okay.
There's no evidence of anything that she's talking about. I'll just say that it's silly season.
Bro, Jasmine Crockett exposed yet again. So this woman actually interviewed on CNN. I want to go ahead and react to her interview with Fake Tapper here of CNN. She's done plenty of interviews already, but this is the one that I'm interested in hearing about. So let's go ahead and react to this as well.
Political direction. We're 4 days away from the Texas primaries, which could shake up the political direction for both Democrats and Republicans. And naturally, journalists have come to Texas, in addition to the Texas journalists, to report on all the candidates. That includes Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who is running for the U.S. Senate in the Democratic primary. One journalist, however, Elaine Godfrey of The Atlantic magazine, says that she was thrown out of one of Congresswoman Crockett's rallies.
Top-notch hater.
Godfrey published this article yesterday, quote, "Why I got thrown out of a Jasmine Crockett rally." Now, a day before that, Crockett told CBS News that no journalist had been thrown out of her rally. Oh, really? Well, Godfrey just released the audio, and here is the moment after a woman with a badge told Godfrey that Crockett's team wanted her to leave.
Why are you asking me to leave?
They just said Elaine from Atlantic, white girl with that hat and no cut. She's interviewing people in the crowd. She's a top-notch hater and will spin. She needs to leave.
This is hilarious.
Top-notch hater. Elaine Godfrey from The Atlantic joins us now. Elaine, Crockett also told CBS News that there's no evidence a journalist was thrown out of her event, that there is a specific history with a history of being less than truthful, she says. Now, when it comes to being less than truthful, your article is evidence. Your claim is evidence. The audio is evidence.
Hello.
Did anyone else see what happened? And how can Congresswoman Crockett continue to say that there's no evidence when there's quite a bunch?
I don't know, Jake. It's a very weird situation that I have never found myself in. A lot of people saw it. There were a bunch of guests or a bunch of attendees at the rally waiting to take pictures with her. A bunch of staff, obviously all the security guards who walked me out.
Any idea what Crockett's team was objecting to? Your coverage has been, of all politicians, analytical, critical, edgy at times, but what's with top-notch hater? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear she is referring to a story that I wrote of her back in summer of last year. I wrote a profile of her that she didn't like how it was going. She called me a few days before it was published, and she said, "I'm upset that you've reached out to members of Congress to do this profile. You haven't asked for permission to do that." She said, "I'm revoking permissions for this story and I'm shutting it down." That is obviously not how journalism works. So we published the story anyway. You can read it at theatlantic.com under my byline. But yeah, I think she's still upset about that story, even though I think it was a pretty fair story. I think it was good. I'm biased, of course. But yeah, I think she's still upset about that. But you know, she can call me a hater. It's the being kicked out that doesn't work for me.
Guys, can you imagine if President Trump, and with all these fake news journals, you remember Jim Acosta, you got Caitlin Collins, like, does he say sometimes he doesn't feel like answering their questions or something, or is he rude to some of the people? Yeah, absolutely. But does he kick them out entirely? No. Does he never answer their questions? No, he answers their questions all the time. So to imply that, like, he's somehow antithetical to journalism, right? Like, they try to get on him for Jimmy Kimmel just because the parent network wanted to get rid of him for what he said about Charlie Kirk, and they try to act like that was Trump's fault. Colbert with Tallarico and not airing the Tallarico interview on TV, they try to act like that was Trump's fault. They got caught lying about that due to Jasmine Crockett. But lo and behold, she has a journalist saying things about her that she doesn't like, and all of a sudden, it's fair game to get rid of this journalist. No. We don't want people hearing things about me that I don't like. So now it's fair game to suppress journalism and free speech in the First Amendment. These people are nothing but hypocrites. Sometimes I feel like the Democrats would not stand for anything if they didn't have hypocrisy to stand on. But these are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm out. Shout out to my members, patrons, and fellow anomalies, Cyber Noodle, 655, The Great, Bella Scott, Carpentier John, and Pinecone 6. I appreciate you guys every single day.
I don't know if I would call myself a top-notch hater. I've never thought of myself that way. I'm a little flattered, but
things that make her raise some real questions about her electability prospects, which were things like calling the governor of the state Governor Hot Wheels. She has said, I can't remember what the quotation was, but it was something mean about all white men or all men in general.
Mediocre white men.
Mediocre white men, which to me, I'm always just like,
She's called Latinos. She said that Latinos who vote for Trump have a slave mentality.
Yes.
The more you put